The making of The Rings of Power, the show that makes you realize they should have been more inclusive of people who had an IQ over 75. You know when people complain that all of the sets felt really small? Yeah, I think we found out why.
The first time we meet Galadriel.
Look, I know Wheel of Time Season 2's coming up, and I don't want to hear any comments about my pronunciation after that.
Conversation is about that life is not going to be as easy as it has been.
The conversation is about stones sinking because they look downwards, and ships floating because they look upwards, and sometimes to be good, you've actually got to be evil first. But it turns out the script was so obtuse, even the director doesn't know what it was supposed to mean.
Centuries later, she's chasing...
Wait, why does she have horizontal ropes on her? Is that just in case she stops looking down? If she looks sideways, gravity will flip and she'll fly that way. Maybe they genuinely think that gravity just exists in whatever direction you're looking.
Gladriel is...
Gladriel. It's not Gladriel anymore. We're not rolling the R's. We're in an interview now. Nobody actually is trying to pontificate about nonsense.
complete the task of ridding the world of Morgoth.
Oh, so you'll roll the R of Morgoth, but not Gladriel. And you did rid the world of the evil of Morgoth. You're after Sauron. Even at the start of the show, you're after Sauron.
She's been on a quest for over 1,000 years.
You'd think after living with a squad of soldiers for over 1,000 years, you would care about them a bit more than just leaving them to die because they fall over in the snow. Might have built up a bit of a bond. No? No. Okay.
I'm playing Eleanor Kilmark Brandyfoot, otherwise known as Snorri.
Do you remember the blissful ignorance of episode 1 where you just thought the hobbits were stupid and annoying rather than evil, murderous scum? Yeah, those were the days.
Welcome to the Harfoot community.
That's one word for them, although cult might be a bit more accurate. I mean, look at this. The police have even cordoned off another murder already. All we're missing is a chalk outline of a guy with his arms in the air. And when people ask, where did all the money go on the production? I don't know. Maybe it's gone on all the staff that are standing around doing absolutely nothing. There's more money wasted there than the average Twitter cafeteria.
These are all of our carts in like a camouflage mode so that we are not attracting any unwanted predators.
Yes, unwanted predators, because the predators we want are already Harfoots. Look, we're not evil, we just practice extreme survival of the fittest.
The Harfoots were some of our first characters.
Why am I not surprised? The thing at the forefront of your mind is generally something you're comfortable with or have a lot of experience of, and you chose a load of dirty degenerates who go around murdering each other. I can tell you live in California.
It was really important to convey that they are nomads in this world.
You didn't think the audience would get that from the carts and the moving across the world?
They don't live in little hills. They actually live in carts that move around.
I'm so glad you told me, love. I never would have gathered that on my own. Seriously, how thick do you think your audience is?
It was really important to me that everyone knew they didn't live in skyscrapers. I also think you should know that the hobbits, they can't see the cameramen. No, all of this, it's actually a TV show. It's not real life.
And that they're camouflaged because they're little and they're hiding.
I can tell I'm dealing with a big-brained individual here.
No, they can hide well because they're so ickle. Now you see me. Now you don't. Some people ask me why the hobbits aren't clean, and I tell them it's because they'd fall through the holes in the washing machine.
Did we really need to see a foot on screen for that long? All I'm saying is I'm pretty sure I could write an accurate profile of the creator of the Harfoots, and I could definitely name his favourite website.
This is the place where we will meet our Harfoots for the very first time. We sort of took some of those things back to their kind of primal roots.
Why are you getting rained on? You run $1 billion TV show. Buy an umbrella. No, Sharon, stop holding that for me a second. I want to get some water on my glasses so I just look more relatable in the interview. Look, all I'm saying is only one of his glasses has water on, the other one is perfectly clear. Either that's set up or he's decided to sit underneath an umbrella that only comes halfway across his head.
We know that hobbits are very skilled at remaining unseen in nature, even in the Third Age. So what if you had this community of wandering migratory Harfoots? How would they blend in with the world around them?
And you came to the conclusion that they'd roll around in filth and murder each other mercilessly, did you? I can understand why your prequel series didn't work out well when this is your idea of a prequel character. What would you do with a prequel of John Wick? Have his mum trying to strangle him with his own umbilical cord?
Oh, it's just so wholesome.
We'll come to see them as people.
I am never going to see the Harfoots as people
who are very skilled and adept from hiding from the dangers of the outside world.
That's because they're more dangerous than the outside world. Even the orcs were upset when one of their own died. The Harfoots wrote it down in a book so they could remember it and laugh about it later.
I think one of the main things that attracted me even even as a young kid,
I'm quite scared where this sentence is going.
was the creatures.
Oh yeah, you mean the wolf that can see its prey 20 meters away, but decides not to attack them until 3 episodes later.
Should I eat my prey now or wait for several months?
Because it is at least 2 weeks and probably at least a couple of months between those 2 scenes.
We started thinking about what would this environment mean to this troll.
What? How would living in a cave affect a cave troll? Are you actually being serious?
It lives in this abandoned, icy fortress.
It's a cave troll. Lives in a cave.
You know, maybe it would sit for long periods of time.
Why would it do that?
Ice would form in the fur, and then it would move, and that ice would crack.
I'm sorry, but did you think that that was a complex bit of wardrobe?
Yeah, so we're in this really cold, icy environment. What should we do with the monster? Well, I mean, he could have ice on him.
I can't believe you said that as if it was such like an impressive, epic decision that we'd all made. We discussed this for hours. I think I'm beginning to see where the series fell apart.
We looked at even giving it a little bit of facial hair.
What, you just thought his jawline wasn't strong enough so he didn't come across as scary? He looks like a member of BTS. Somebody give that guy a beard.
And that facial hair could have some ice stuck into it as well.
Oh, I can see you contributed the big ideas to this show right up there with,
Well, they can hide because they're so tiny.
Everyone is equipped with the foundation of skill fighting.
well, that's just a lie. Everyone was absolutely awful and terrible at fighting except for Galadriel, who did everything.
Sword work and hand-to-hand.
When did that happen? Because he didn't even do anything in that scene. Pretty sure the only thing that guy did in a fight is put his sword behind him to fling Galadriel, so why is all this spinning sword work in there? How much of other people fighting did you cut out to make Galadriel appear like the big strong one? Empowerment!
It's about 20 kgs, this whole outfit.
The whole outfit is 20 kilograms. You should have asked for some of that half-printed fabric armor they gave the Numenorians.
You kind of get used to it after a while.
It just begins to feel like you've eaten too much Dunkin' Donuts.
We have to show that we have kind of like a timeless wisdom or dignity in the
Oh, come on! Did anyone get from the elves a sense of timeless wisdom? Okay, especially Galadriel. No. Timeless entitled narcissism, maybe.
dignity in the way that we dispatch with an opponent within a fight.
You wanted to show dignity with the way that you disposed of an enemy in a fight. You all got battered. You were only there to be skillless meat shields to highlight how amazing Galadriel was. There was no wisdom or elegance involved in any of your portrayals. Which again makes me ask, what did you cut out if the actors are saying they portrayed a different role? We even see them getting annihilated. Oh, pray tell, where was the wisdom and elegance in your portrayal there?
I think that was very important in that scene with the snow troll, was to see meth.
Meth? Alright, calm down, Eisenberg. I don't know what you thought it was, but that was meant to be snow. I think you've spent too much time in Hollywood.
Doing her own stunts.
Oh, Galadriel! Oh, okay. Look, I know the name is Welsh, but I don't think it's pronounced meth. Hey, they actually got a camera of her smiling in this, and she looks way better. Why didn't we get that Galadriel? That Galadriel would have been way better.
My biggest fear is that I'm going to hit someone in the face with my sword.
I mean, that would have been funnier, I've got to admit. You should have put that in the making of. That would have been awesome.
Very glad that my first involved this imaginary troll.
Despite my training, I lacked so much confidence that I was just happy to be swinging at thin air. Can't imagine why it didn't come across as believable.
The recklessness that she has, like, emotionally is also kind of physical.
The reckless that she has emotionally is also physical. The reason why Galadriel is such a better fighter than the other elves is because she's so emotional. I don't think they'll ever understand what makes a good action hero and what doesn't until they realize what's wrong with that sentence.
It's my emotions that give me power.
Because she's losing her connection to what makes you an elf.
No, she isn't.
The elegance and regalness of the elf.
So you think that elegance and regalness is what makes you an elf? No, that's called being civilized, dear. I think most people would agree that after living for thousands of years, you would develop some kind of elegance or regalness out of wisdom and experience, because you're not controlled by such petty things as your feelings. You have a massive breadth of actually worthwhile things to base your decisions on, not just your feelings. I long for the day that Hollywood realizes that no one cares about your hurt little fifis.
What she's doing is she's kicking the embers around, and that's how you start a fire.
What? Look, I could criticize Galadriel as much as the next person, but that doesn't make any sense. Look, just don't go and look for Sauron. As long as nobody looks for Sauron, he won't be doing anything evil, alright? You know the other thing that you should have developed over thousands of years? intelligence.
In my opinion, she's making things worse.
How could tracking down an evil lord make something worse? Just leave the orcs in the corner. It's not as if they're going to breed and multiply or anything. They'll be fine. Just don't poke the bear.
She's being saved from the viciousness and brutality of war.
Who's going to save Valinor from the viciousness and brutality of Galadriel? That's what I want to know.
It's a very conflictive context. So it's not that the day you declare peace, you have peace.
Do you even know what you're on about? Because I don't think you know what you're on about. No one's declared peace, mate. The elves thought Morgoth and Sauron were dead, so they thought they had peace. No one declared it. This wasn't two warring factions that sat down at a table and agreed on something. They were mistaken. It's got nothing to do with declaring peace in a war. I thought the script was stupid. I wasn't expecting the commentary on it to be worse.
It's a very difficult decision for Galadriel to decide if she goes back home.
No, it isn't.
Oh, it's so difficult to decide. Should I go to heaven or jump into the ocean and die?
I feel pretty confident in the advice to say, don't jump off a perfectly good boat into the middle of an ocean.
Oh, but I can't go to heaven because it'll just be too nice and enjoyable.
After so many years fighting against the forces of Morgoth.
That should make relaxing even easier.
You know, I find it really difficult to sit down when I get home from a long day at work.
No, if you're tired, you find it even easier to go to sleep. You would have thought when they were filming this bit, they would have realised how stupid it looked, wouldn't you?
No, it looked fine. We'll fix it in post.
She's driven by the light.
What do you mean she's driven by the light? No, the light didn't push her away. What are you even on about? It was the light of Valinor. If anything, it should be recharging her like an Energizer bunny, according to your own law.
And it's darkness behind. So you have your main hero choosing between light and darkness.
Yeah, so you're saying she chose darkness. Galadriel chose to be evil. The hero. I'm not even sure you comprehend the series that you created, I gotta be honest.
And she chooses darkness.
The hero shouldn't be choosing darkness. There's the odd exception, like an angel, where he's like, to fight war from in the heart, I've got to become as evil as they are to fight it. Okay, but that wasn't the same for Galadriel.
Just like, no, I've got to be evil now. Why? I don't know. I don't know. No idea.
Wait, you ended? They thought that was so deep and meaningful, they ended episode 1 making of on it. Well, you know, she chose the darkness because she's just such a rebel. Amazon Studios, everybody, who think that if you ever get a choice between good and evil, the hero should choose evil for no reason whatsoever. You can't make a show about heroes if you don't have a moral compass.
So you find Galadriel in the middle of the sea, adrift, trying to go back to Middle-earth.
We're not going to talk about how stupid that is, are we?
Yeah, episode 2 starts with her just in the middle of the ocean trying to go back to Middle-earth. I don't see any problems with that at all. We're just going to carry on like everything's fine.
In that adventure, she will find characters.
That's all you're going to say.
Well, she's in the middle of the ocean, and in that adventure, she finds people.
A story really is just a series of checkboxes for you, isn't it? And then this happened, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Can't imagine why your shows have zero depth.
And one of the most interesting characters is Halbrand.
I mean, I agree, but I'm not sure one of the most interesting is that high a bar.
Halbrand comes and picks her up. She's saved, which I don't think she enjoys.
Why, is that because she's an egotistical, self-obsessed, entitled little bitch?
He's skeptical of her, he's wary of her, he doesn't trust her.
Oh! Did you do this interview when you were filming episode 2, and so you didn't realise you were Sauron at this point? You're just projecting your own emotions onto Sauron? Because even if we didn't know he was Sauron, I don't think that's how he acted at all.
And he's keeping his distance.
No, he wasn't. He literally walked straight up to her and then went to save her. There was no distance at all.
From the moment that he meets her, an undeniable sort of spark.
Oh, we're not shipping them. We're not shipping them. We know the audience will ship them, but we're not shipping them. Oh, there's a spark there, isn't there? Oh, we're not shipping them.
And then they're hit by a massive...
I wouldn't pause there, mate, if I were you.
Massive tempest, which was amazing to film.
I get the feeling this is like She-Hulk. We had such fun filming it. Oh, this scene was so entertaining to film. But yeah, but you should have tried watching it. It's coming apart! After that, I want to know if Galadriel had such fun filming the scene.
Storm was one of the moments where I really got to see all the gears working around me.
Yeah, she's not commenting on how fun the scene is she?
Which was terrifying and amazing.
It was terrifying and amazing. Not fun. This scene was always so weird to me because it didn't really add anything to the show at all, and it had no point. If they'd said that Sauron had engineered it to put her in danger so that he could save her and get her on side, then at least it would have served a purpose in the story. But as it was kind of pointless. It just felt like a load of people had too much money and they thought, well, we can do this. It's really expensive, but, you know, we've got the money, folks. Because I was bored throughout this entire scene. It was impressive that they could technically make something like this. but I didn't find it entertaining. It's the engineering I find interesting, not entertaining.
The raft gets struck by lightning, the mast severs and drags her to the bottom.
Wait, do you really need so many scuba divers just for one person going down a rope?
So much of it was just about being comfortable with the water. You don't feel like your hand's just going through the water, you feel like you're manipulating the water.
Are you high?
Yeah, I had to become comfortable in the water because I couldn't just swim through it. Oh no, I had to be like a water magneto. I controlled the water.
I don't even know what that means.
And you're in control of it.
But you're not in control of it.
That was really amazing and also really great in terms of like what it would feel like to be an elf, because that's what they're like.
What?
Like with kind of everything.
You were tied to a post and sinking, and your first thought was,
this is what it's like to be an elf?
They're like this with everything. What, they sink, do they? Elves sink, and that made you feel like one? Or are you saying that elves can manipulate the water? The thing I love about the making of and behind the scenes of shows like this is you realise they don't live in the same world we do. I've never felt so much as like an elf as when I could control water.
Suddenly, you get into a universe where different races are relating to each other in a very ordinary way.
If it's ordinary, why is it worth commenting on? Suddenly, you're in a world where different people exist. Yes, if you move outside California, you'll find different people exist all over the place. It's just that you live in a bubble where everyone agrees with each other, which is why you think it's so novel when you find that different people can exist.
Elrond and Durin have been pals for a very long time, but our friendship has become a brotherhood.
Are you sure it's a brotherhood and not more husband and wife?
And I feel that it's been betrayed by him. He's not come to see me.
Definitely sounding more like husband and wife, isn't it? We know who's the wife.
You missed my wedding, the birth of my children, 2 of them.
You've not given me flowers and you forgot our anniversary.
20 years may be the blink of an eye to an elf, but I've lived an entire life in that time.
I've been slaving over this hot stove all day and you didn't even appreciate it. I've got my hair cut, you didn't even notice. You've been too busy playing Call of Duty.
One of the main themes in the Tolkien universe, friendship.
Yeah, friendship, not friends with benefits.
And when you talk about friendship in between different races, you talk about empathy.
Oh, it's all about empathy and feelings. Oh, my fifis.
Hey up, I think I know where this is going. Are we going to start talking about the rampant bigotry of your cast?
In that sense, it's very related to fairy tales.
Hey, is that like concept art storyboard? That actually looks really cool. Is it weird that that makes me want kind of an animated series? I'm loving that artwork.
You know, this kind of storytelling that tells you what is the right thing to do, what is the wrong.
And you just decided to do the wrong thing every single opportunity you ever got, did you? Should we have good characters or evil characters? And you just went, well, how about if we had all of our evil characters and just told everyone they were good? That'd be an interesting twist. There are very few characters in your show I wouldn't consider at best immoral, but generally evil.
I've been thrilled to work with J.A. Bayona again, who I absolutely adore.
Hey up, they were drilling out drywall as well. A lot of dust in the air over there.
The Digger Orc sequence was fun.
Oh, well, as long as you had fun, that's all that matters, eh?
Let's have a woman and a child kill an orc.
Okay, but why wasn't the orc able to fight them? Once you've shown an orc get beaten by a mother and a child, why should we think it's dangerous when it goes against a trained military man in armor? You destroyed your villain for the series in your second episode. Congratulations.
With the help of some movie magic, I'm going to slay an orc.
At least we all know it's movie magic and we're not pretending we can do it in real life.
It's great to have Pete around. I designed a whole storyboard for that scene and he understood absolutely every frame.
Is that meant to be difficult? Why wouldn't somebody be able to understand pictures? If they can't, they're either an imbecile or your pictures are awful.
We'd have deep conversations about it.
Press X to doubt. I've seen the show. I don't think any of you had a deep conversation about anything. You had someone say the Harfoots were good at hiding because they were tiny. I don't think deep conversations were really that frequent on the set. But please, tell me what your deep conversations were about.
Then my job is to how we do this practically.
We're just gonna skip over the deep conversations, are we? Okay. Just trust us, mate, they were really deep. And then we went on to the practicals of how could some person wearing a helmet swing around a bit? The practicals of this weren't complicated. And the more complicated you think a simple thing is, the less complimentary it is overall.
It's a lot harder than it looks. Put your arm up at the exact moment, and as it hits here, then you've got to go down.
You see what I mean about thinking something really simple is complicated?
It was so difficult, like you had to have your arm up here, and then as he hit you, your arm goes over here.
Makes you wonder how some people get dressed in the morning, doesn't it? I think we're discovering the kind of person all those warning labels are for. Was that the scene? Oh, put my arm up and then a roll. So complicated. What are you going to do with that? Butter him.
Bronwyn spoke to me because her journey is really finding herself.
I bet it is.
I've just gone on a gap year and I need to discover myself and heal.
She has a son that she feels very compelled to protect.
I should hope so, but is that really worthy of commentary? Wanting to protect your child should be the default, not something you have to point out as exceptional.
Now, if you'd come out and gone, yeah, I've got a son, but I want him to piss off and die,
that would have been worthy of comment. Although maybe wanting your child to survive is unique in Hollywood. I don't know. They're just amazed by her unique virtue.
I think that the whole first and second episode are
boring. Mind-numbingly boring. And the reason I interjected there is because he couldn't think of what to say about it either. Watch.
First and second episode are like
They jump cut that because he couldn't think of what to say. I know, because that's why I jump cut mine. The first and second episodes are... they're incredible. They had to cut it in the middle because his mind just went blank. I needed a scripture that isn't an insult. I realise I've made trash and I just can't think of anything. I can't say any of the true things going through my head. Quick, go through all the true things going through my head until I find a compliment.
The planting of a world.
Ah, the planting of a world, yes. I realise I've made something incredibly boring, so I'm going to try and pretend I'm setting up for something in the future. Because I couldn't do both for some reason, as I'm a talentless hack. I remember a time in entertainment where we had talented people actually making things, where they could set up a character while the character was doing something. And I don't think that's worthy of praise, because I think that's the baseline of what you need to do in entertainment. If you can't make something which is entertaining as you set up a world, then don't make entertainment.
You can notice that something's cooking in the shadows.
The only thing that was cooking in the shadows was my coffee, because I needed the caffeine to desperately try and stay awake through it.
Those things moving underground.
There's something lurking in the shadows, but the lurking metaphysics is actually represented by the orcs. Or if you think about it, it's all incredibly deep. This is the kind of guy that would go to a modern art gallery, see a light blinking on and off, and think it's a display piece. It's not a slow burn, you're just pretentious.
This character is underground a lot, so he's not breathing in and out through his mouth.
I'm sorry, but are you a human being? You think being underground a lot is the reason why he doesn't breathe in and out through his mouth? I think we found an actual real-world case of a mouth breather. I would love to talk to this guy and find out what he thinks a nose is for.
It's very short and sharp.
If you do short, sharp breaths, aren't you more likely to do it through your mouth because you've got to inhale a lot of oxygen very quickly? Who did that interview, heard that answer and thought, yeah, that makes absolute sense, I'm going to put that in? How can you hear that answer and not end up with more questions for him? I have so many.
Because he does want to get a lot of dust and dirt in his nose.
Wait, he doesn't want to get dust and dirt in his nose? So he doesn't breathe through his mouth, but he does short, sharp breaths through his nose because he doesn't want to get dirt in it. Is it just me that's amazed by that answer? I actually can't comprehend what he's on about. I feel like I've met an interdimensional species. I'm so curious how he lives his life.
He's a ballet dancer by profession. What he's done in this role is so inspiring.
The orc? You're inspired by a ballet dancer that became an orc. What is this wild ride? I want to get off.
He contorts his body, he uses his voice.
I'm so inspired by this ballet dancer, he can talk!
I don't know if this is a nonsensical mess or I'm just losing my mind at this point.
They've got this feeling like a coiled spring.
She drops the head of the orc in front of everyone for people to see. And I think that's when people start to take her seriously.
People only take the woman seriously when she's a badass girl boss!
One lucky swipe with a sword against a distracted orc isn't enough to get you to follow a florist into battle, then I don't know what will be. If this is the insanity we're getting at episode 2, I don't know how I'm going to survive the rest. Now, that was the end of part 1. I've already recorded the next episode, and oh boy, is that a piece of gold. So, if you like the video, press like, subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and you will not want to miss the next part. But for now, that's it from me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.